Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today I wanted to relook at Fallout Shelter. After a pathetic attempt to try to play Fallout 1, which came out in 1997, here you have something that came out in 2017, so you're talking 20 years in the future. Oddly, though, as is evident for the fact that this indicator in the lower left is an ad that pops up a website for Fallout 76, a game not worth even mentioning. This game really is a free advertisement that I don't think has any monetization in it at all. I don't think there's really ever any intention of that. It's basically a tiny tower clone or a tower simulator clone, except for you're going down into a Fallout shelter instead of that. But then they added a decent amount. That being said, we are still kind of going from the direction of games that I really wouldn't ever play. I was going to try and cover Fallout 2, but actually Fallout 2 and Fallout Brotherhood Tactics, which would be the next two chronological games, I never even got around to buying, so maybe I'll get around to buying them and covering them at some point. My coverage of Fallout 2 certainly would have been exactly the same as Fallout 1. There would have been too much talking and a bad interface, and I wouldn't have wanted to play it, whereas Fallout Shelter probably still falls under that category, but there is a chance that now that they have updated it quite a bit, or at least there was one major update that turned it into more of a game and less of just a standard simulation, that I want to check this out. But I wouldn't be surprised if I still wouldn't want to put the time into it. You can see the last time I saved on the Steam version of this game was basically when it came out in 2017, or the same year it came out. I covered this, I think, originally through the Bethesda launcher, which at this point the Bethesda launcher is a joke, and there's no reason you'd ever use it even for Bethesda games, and since Microsoft has since acquired Bethesda, I imagine that project will get shut down eventually. The IDs here matter a little bit, but not enough to really care. I imagine if I went 777, you probably would go fairly lucky. If you were to go 666, it'd probably be very unlucky. So yeah. If you went like Vault 69, I think that's like 68 females to 1 male. Something like that. There are some jokes implanted, certainly in the vaults, but yeah, for the most part the number doesn't matter, and just a random number. Notice there was a survival mode. I don't believe that was originally in the game. They have this art. Now there is no voice acting, but there is better sound effects and better animation compared to the 20-year previous game. In a lot of ways, it would be interesting if they had taken the narrative of Fallout 1 and put it in Fallout Shelter, but it doesn't quite work that way because, you're an overseer of a shelter, you're not a character from a Fallout Shelter. And so you... oh man, I'm just having a flashback right now about all the microtransactions that actually were in this game. I am totally wrong. There was a ton of microtransactions, at least on the cell phone version of this, where you'd buy lunch boxes and bottle caps. This probably would have been a great beginning of them remaking Fallout 1, though. Just not focusing on maintaining the shelter, or maybe adding that as a gameplay mechanic and bundling it with a more traditional Fallout experience. Welcome to your new Vault Oversea. Let's introduce you to basic concepts. First, let's build a room. Press Y to open the build menu. I imagine we'll build a power generator. Press A to select the power room. Room require power as a function. Press A again to confirm. And then I imagine maybe using a controller here is not the best movement to do. Power generation I think is particularly useful, so I'm going to go down here in the lower left hand section because that looks like you could go 3 squares to the left, and I know that 3 wide rooms is as big as I think you could build. Now we need dwellers to make power generators produce power. The little energy lightning bolts are things you would kind of want to click on in the cell phone version of this game. I think I played this on cell phone more than I ever played it on PC, and that does make a lot of sense that you would probably want to play something like this, do your dailies on a portable platform like a cell phone versus a PC game, because certainly this isn't going to be pushing your graphics cards that hard. That being said, the graphics here are sharp and cartoony, which is much more in line with what modern Fallout looks like compared to Fallout 1. Look, new dwellers have shown up at the vault door. Oh, and we've got a little Christmas tree out there. I'm recording this near Christmas in December, and I suppose this is an Easter egg. Let's look at the stats of a dweller. Move to the Wasteland and with the left stick and select a dweller. You can see the dweller's special stats. This informs where the dweller can be most effective, although I'm not 100% sure. To assign a dweller, hold A to grab them and select a room. Try assigning him to the power generator room. So yeah, you just hold and drop, and that gives him a suit. Now assign the second dweller to the power generator. We'll just drop her too. Kind of oddly different from most Fallout games where the Fallout shelters never would let in a dweller on the outside. This game centers around that idea. You can see in the top left we're at like 53% happiness, and we want to get as happy as possible. So, power generation, there are these timers, and it seems like these timers still exist, making it kind of ridiculous that you wouldn't want to play this game because of those artificial limitations. And you can see there's a cap currency, and then there's a Coca-Cola bottle currency that's probably a premium currency. Now that the dwellers are working at the rooms, start producing resources. Hold right trigger to zoom in for a closer look. Right trigger. If you're in dire need of extra resources, use the rush. Press up on to open the rush. Up on the D-pad to open the rush menu. What does down on the D-pad do? It seems like that would take a screenshot, but it's not letting me at the moment. Okay. I think rushing is pretty much always active to you and doesn't cost anything. And so you definitely get a lot of audio feedback even without voice acting. Great, you can successfully complete your first rush and collected caps. They always let you win the first time. Let's build a second room. You'll need a diner which will produce food. Select a diner and build. We'll put the diner on, I guess maybe a parallel field, or we could put it one up higher. I guess the question is, do you want people to have to go through an elevator to potentially eat? And we'll just stick it there. It probably doesn't matter that much. There's probably a lot of strategy you could implement into a game. that doesn't really matter. Water treatment. And at this point we pretty much have to put it here. Great work. Here's some food and water to start your vault. Click the left stick to display your vault meter details. Remember to keep track of your resources needs. Look, more dwellers have shown up at the vault door. Now that you know the basic rules of the overseer role, keep expanding your vault. Just remember to keep your dwellers alive and happy. Good luck. So the thing here is C2, P2, A2, S. So we'll just put him in the water. And so you have these kind of achievements you're supposed to do. Left stick shows you actual numbers. Controls: use the left stick to select a room. After selecting room, press A on the left stick to cycle through the dwellers in that room. Use the right stick to move the camera, and right trigger and left trigger. I don't think that was really necessary. A1, P5, A1. Well, do that. You can send dwellers to explore the wasteland, assign a dweller outside of the vault, and give them supplies to start off their adventure. And that's the real expansion here that they added to this game, is the idea that when you send dwellers out, +1, -1, 3, you get to follow them, where originally in this game, dwellers with high luck special are more successful at rushing rooms and getting cap bonuses when production finishes. -1, A2, C1. Well, we'll put it there. And I assume this one is creating food. -1, A5. Destroy rocks to help expand your vault deeper. Okay. So you still have to click on rooms to collect the resources. Let's hit the B button and see where upgrade your production of your rooms to produce more resources. Press right stick on the room to select an upgrade. To upgrade it. Alright, well, we'll just follow through the tutorial. What do we need the most of? Probably water. Upgrade the water fund. Zero, 0, 2. You just use your last available space for dwellers in the vault. Build more living quarters to accommodate more dwellers. And see, I think mostly when you put people in the room, notice how these are flat people, so they don't really have to animate them too much. I think when you put them in the living quarters, you're basically asking them to breed and increase your special stats, which is really what you're trying to do. They'll put out these little lines of dialogue, but none of them really matter. They'll just give you a general idea of their happiness. But yeah, you really want to breed the special stats of the characters. And so here we can see there's a level up character. And it's not getting away from merged rooms can hold more dwellers, so they produce more resources. Yes. We'll build. We'll zoom out, press Y, build a living quarters, and Put it there. And then that immediately allows us to potentially swap some people out. Need more dwellers for your vault? Try assigning dwellers to living quarters and see if magic happens. AKA having babies. Like, we don't really have enough resources to... Interesting, the camera kind of has a different way. You can either move around with the left and it will just auto center, or you can move with the right and move a little bit faster. Build additional storage rooms or upgrade your existing storage rooms to get more space. Interesting, they have now pets. I'm noticing. That's new. Alright. But it's still very much in the vein of a cell phone game where you're having to click on these rooms to gain resources. Well, I basically want to see that not be the case. And yet, under settings, you don't see any options like that. Alright, and so you have... Yes, there are microtransactions in this game still, and you would be pretty insane to actually put any money into this game. Yeah, because there's just kind of no reason you would want to actually stick with this game that much, because it's going to get incredibly repetitive very fast, in a bad way, even compared to most Fallout games, which are fairly repetitive. I hit A to collect the resources, and I didn't read the tooltip there, so hopefully that wasn't too important. And you don't want to just rush, because right now I particularly have a fine amount of resources. We need an overseer's office before we can access quests, so it potentially could be a while before... Yeah. You have to have 18 dwellers in the vault before you can even get the overseer's office. Which, yeah, that's a problem, I think. Yeah. Like, we may get little resources here and there, but at the end of the day, I don't think you finish the entire concept of the game. A, P, C. Since there are now more room, I can take some of these characters and swap them around. When you drag somebody that's a plus into a room, then they will replace, I assume, the lowest person. But very quickly you're running out of resources, and the only thing that's going to move you forward is you can manage all your weapons and outfits, which we have none of at the moment. There's 182 collectibles, and you can just see that scroll bar at the bottom is just growing larger and larger, because clearly it's just like downloading spaces for all of them. 132 outfits, 21 different types of junk, 98 types of pets, and 23 special named dwellers, which that's pretty much what you would want to try and collect all of, everything of, but I just don't feel like a game like this, really, which is supposed to be just an advertisement, I don't think you'd want to put that much time into it to to unlock everything. This really should be something you spend about 5 hours on, and yet they've designed it so that you will potentially spend. Male and female dwellers within the living quarters have a chance of making babies. I wonder if you'll get any repetitive tooltips. This guy is another male character we could put in the living quarters so that you can have different babies from different companions in case they don't gel, although I'm not sure if there really is any limitation there. So the objective was to level up a dweller to get a lunchbox, send the dweller into the wasteland, successfully rush a room. We could use water, so let's see if that successfully works. Yep. And probably at this point, tooltips are getting somewhat redundant. Okay. And then that means we have one unlockable Vault-Tec lunchbox, which gives us some junk, gives us an elf outfit, which I wonder if that's because it's December, gives us a Radaway, gives us some caps, and gives us Colonel Autumn. Wow. Okay. Colonel Autumn, by any means, should be put in here. Vault needs a steady supply of food, water, and power. They haven't changed that. And they're not quite dailies as far as the objectives. They seem like they just constantly replace, which does let you play the game more than Vault-Tec starter pack. And so here the ads start. And in a funny way, this would be where I think this would be kind of where I would think that Microsoft could start to improve things by simply making this free and getting rid of the microtransactions, getting rid of it being, making just a few minimal changes to get it away from being a an ad for, let's see, for Fallout 76. I think we convinced the couple to make a baby, but for every baby you might make, yep, Madison here is now pregnant. Right. So she can't really work, and probably means we want to send this guy to the Wasteland. Let's see. Give him an elf outfit. Give him a fist. Give him a Radaway. We have no pets. No, I don't want to evict him. That's not what I meant to do. Explore. So out he goes, because the male has done his part of the job. There. But you can see you're also only getting about 25 caps when doing these things. And you need to pretty much accomplish and clear these objectives as fast as possible. And it's a real clock by the same time, seemingly. So you'd have to come back every day to get ratings and get those boosts of resources, which inevitably that's what you're looking for here, is a boost in resources every day that they just keep you equipped to want to keep playing. Giddy up buttercup. It's apparently junk. Notice that they can give you just resources in general. There are Steam achievements around this game for a free game. That's kind of nice, but you also run into problems around that idea because it's alright, we don't have enough people. Cooking, making food. We're low on food. We've leveled up another person. We should probably move this guy over here. And maybe that means we'll move someone else over there instead. We need 14 dwellers before we can build the next building. Why is this water treatment station? Is this the thing I upgraded? Yep. So I had to upgrade it again to 0. See, this guy we are going to have to recall eventually because he's going to be pretty low level. And you can see it's just text, but compared to Fallout 1, at least the text is nice and big. I'm having no problems whatsoever playing this on a TV screen from 10 feet away. How much health does he have? Yeah, he's only been out for like 3 minutes, and I guess you can kind of see his health, but not exact numbers. So we'll have to come back and check on him later. You also have some zoom out problems, I would say. Here, it's like the camera is often just like too zoomed out or not centered enough to my liking. You can see you don't go very far to the left or to the right as far as your buildings. You can, I imagine, probably go down forever. But we have interesting, you can hit back to see specific characters. That's helpful. You can kind of see how we've already hit the wall in less than 30 minutes of gameplay. We need food, we need water, we then rush, and I think your chance of an incident can only be as low as 30%. So if I was being really careful, what I would do is move the kernel into the into the specific room I was about to rush in. We're doing kind of nicely as far as power generation, but you definitely can see how these objectives should probably be a long list of objectives you could always do instead of just 3 objectives to focus on. There should be a secondary collection of objectives that says build a 3 wide room or build a new building. And yeah, you are definitely going to run into a point where there's just nothing going on to start with. I don't know what I just did there. That was not my intention. I was trying to pull up Madison's stats. And apparently I hit enough buttons to swap her with another character, which I don't even know how that would really play. I think it's easier to just play this the way I originally would have played this, which is to grab her, drag her around, and see what works best. But the controls are kind of still wonky. I definitely feel that wonkiness happening where sell one weapon or outfit. We kind of need a weapon or outfit before we sell it. But yeah, we will definitely get to that. Notice how the incident chances go up. He fought a savage dog and got 200 XP. Now he's been going for about 7 minutes. And he'll have to travel back the same amount if we recall him. So the question is oddly getting down to the point of, should we bother to recall him now or give him a few more minutes, because there's kind of nothing to do here. We have an 85% happiness rate at the top left. We can see every single person. Colonel Autumn is a level 38 character where everybody else is level 2. Well, that is ridiculously difference there. Which, yeah, all logic says to put Colonel Autumn in the breeding process with just a whole bunch of ladies and try and get every single female pregnant and have every single character be a descendant of Colonel Autumn. Yep. Okay. Colonel Autumn in here. Her A1, A S1, P1 here. Janice here. Andrew here. We basically want only females with the Colonel. And that's going to be kind of hard to even pull off because of Let's see. These are all guys in the so yeah, we have over here him working out with that girl, and we'll just have to cycle every pregnant person. I believe at the beginning of the game, when this was first made, pregnant ladies were more useless, and now they can actually work throughout their pregnancy, which is a way less sexist way to make a game. Although arguably maybe that was an intentional statement. Yeah, we're getting all these elf outfits, and I think that's probably intentional. Alright, so that is down on the D-pad is a screenshot. Good to know. Alright. Ideally, you would want everything to be equipped. So junk will help us craft items later. Consistent 5 or inconsistent 4, 5, or 6. Let's see. We're gonna sell that just to get that quest done. Here we have a pregnant lady, which means we need another non-pregnant lady to go up here, and already pregnant ladies to stay out. This guy is taking a little bit of damage, but he's gonna take forever at this point. It's gonna be 12 minutes for him to come back. Another quest done. But yeah, seems like you could probably reset one of these also. And I think we're supposed to be collecting power, but the power's not really doing anything for us. Right. Let's see. We'll go ahead and just give her an outfit to get another quest done. But I think they pretty much do limit you at this point as far as getting more people, and I would suspect you maybe can only get 100 people in a vault at all, and after that you're just maintaining and just playing the game for your own reasons. Agent Provocateur ran away. Microscope. And Stephen Owens. Which... Alright, so then we have to come over and look at Stephen Owens. And we can now build a med bay because we're at 14. Alright. I don't think these guys level up past like level 9 either. I think that's pretty much it. I assume when we look at Colonel Adam, who is level 38, Stephen Owens is actually way lower. So he could give us +8 on food. So we'll put him down there. And the fact you have to zoom out to make changes, it's a little weird. P1, S1. Alright, we have now a med bay we can build, but let's start with building a living quarters. And then med bay. We need to get up to 16. 1, 2, 3. Just barely big enough to put a med bay back there. And if I was to upgrade the quarters, I'd need 500, and it would give me 6 more people. Whereas if I was to upgrade this, it would give me more storage and more production of food. If I was to upgrade that, I can't upgrade either one of those though. Let's go ahead and build it. Got an achievement for a 3-wide food production facility. And I think we'll need more resources. To get a... Yeah, we don't have any more quests. It's now just food, water, and power. And either we're gonna have to rush that or not. And see, this guy, I guess we could potentially just leave him since we don't even have a quest that is around that. We may have achievements that are around bringing back somebody successfully, but we don't really have any quests around that. Until we do, yeah, we've hit the wall again. Very quickly. Like, I've been playing this less than 45 minutes and I've hit the wall twice as far as gameplay. Let's see, disasters occur when a rush fails or randomly in a room. Dwellers in the room automatically fight the disasters. Dwellers lose health while fighting a disaster. If dwellers fail, the disaster spreads to nearby rooms. Alright, well, attack these guys. You can see we have raiders attacking, and I suppose we could try and give her a gun and something else. We found a good gun. But the raiders are running around, attacking places. I don't know if they're stealing food or if we're just low on food. And since we're low on guns, kind of makes sense to give the guns to, well, maybe the females, but because they have the higher chance of being pregnant, or they have a chance of being pregnant, so you'd want to save them. Well, really, you only need to save maybe one male in the entire facility. Have these people, though, yeah, they don't Do they have anything they can wear? Alright. So that seems like that worked fairly well. Although, arguably, maybe not as well as you would have liked it to. That it didn't create a great situation as far as yeah, let's put somebody here. I don't even know. We need to zoom out a little bit and give us a lot of resources or anything like that. 1 stim pack, 2 agility. Yep. Let's go ahead and recall this guy. You could recall him right now for 1 of the premium currency, but notice how the game has not given you any premium currency at all. It's not even hinted that you might get some. You actually might get some later on, but I think there is also a decent chance you won't. A5. She's just not really gelling with the character, so I feel like this guy's outfit, this greaser outfit, should be probably swapped for that, and then you should come over here and then probably just equip that and then equip this on our most powerful guy. Probably won't ever get an item that increases all of the special stats. That would be a little bit of overkill. Charisma, I think is already pretty much at the max. Her intelligence seems to only work on a female, so I need to find like all of our characters and then see if we can find the one with the highest intelligence that's a female. Denise Wood at the diner. Seems like she's probably the best one. So we take Denise Wood, hold, find her again. Wow, I held down the A and it just kind of zoomed in even more. Most important resource is power. I want you here. I want you back here. Seems like we may run out of power, even though we were doing so well with that earlier. Yeah, I would say this does not control particularly well with a controller, nor does that, because of that reason, help me want to play longer, which that is would be my goal, certainly, is to try and have characters that would want to play longer. Okay. Power generation is S. So if we find somebody with a high S that's not in power generation, We should consider that. Craig Mills. Right, Craig Mills. Whole day. Do that. You can notice you get a little bit of different sound effects. But yeah, this camera is all over the place. And I guess the question is, can we rush? That's really the only thing that makes this game potentially even begin to be tolerable, is the idea of taking that risk and rushing. But it's not really that tolerable that way. If we look at all of our characters, we don't have any stim packs, and without stim packs being created, we don't have any way for any character to heal, and that is something that they don't really make as obvious as they should. So that you get that heavy limitation. This guy still gonna take a while to come back. In a lot of ways, I have too big of buildings instead of trying to upgrade buildings, and I've once again just run and hit the wall. Somebody says they're leveled up, but I don't see who that is. We finally got another lady to make a baby, and maybe that was the thumbs up. We can see our happiness is at 90%, so we're playing well, but we've got this like visual glitch. Notice how it gets more expensive as you get lower and lower to destroy these rocks, and then there is a hard limit on the bottom. This could have been certainly the gateway drug for Bethesda, to have seen how successful this was and make an attempt at maybe a village simulator for the Elder Scrolls series, aka Skyrim, which I guess that's not truly accurate. Skyrim is just one of the many Elder Scrolls games. But they never bothered with that. They never bothered to try and have this engine lead to them creating something else. Let's see if we can now make another baby. And this is another example where this character in particular, this level 38 character with his just incredibly high stats, puts me at a really lucky position where all of a sudden my vault dwellers are going to have very high special stats. They will still be pretty much at level 1 when they're born as babies, but they'll start with the special so high that they can go a lot further throughout the course of their life, whereas these first generation characters such as Stephen Owens here, or Craig Mills, will never really have good opportunities to raise their stats. I think there is, if we look here, a weight room, athletics room, things like this. We probably can't click on these too much, but the icon in the middle left there probably indicates that this is what you would build to increase certain people's stats the hard way, but it's way easier to have them start off fairly high. Of course, these babies may very well just have stats that are halfway between the high numbers and the low numbers. This theme workshop may be new to the game. The barbershop may be new. I don't think the game room is new. And yeah, once you have 100 dwellers, that's when you can start doing the Nuka-Cola bottler stuff. And here we've had a fire disaster. And notice he just walks back to where he was. Wow. Boy, would that have been helpful if I had collected that first. Man, this is really showing how you should always collect every quest as soon as possible. Otherwise the game is going to practically screw you over just intentionally. But yeah. You don't really get details when you click A. But the Nuka-Cola bottler apparently gives you food and water. Where water purification, when you have 80, gives you a higher class of water, less resources needed, less energy needed. Garden. Theoretically, if there was a sandbox mode, which is kind of a shame there isn't a sandbox mode, unless maybe there's some kind of cheat to unlock a sandbox mode, you would like to be able to plan out and have a build where it is just gardens and Nuka-Cola bottlers, or actually just Nuka-Cola bottlers probably, and not even gardens and water purifications, and nuclear reactors for energy, and then a lot more focus on just normal things. I feel like the radio station probably gives you a different kind of quest also. But yeah, we are definitely still struggling. Yeah, you might at some point just start destroying buildings and deciding to use that space for something else. Interesting. I managed to accomplish that quest and finish it without going in there. Deliver one baby dweller. Or theoretically we are. Alright, so now we hit collect. And they give us like 20 bottle caps. And I don't think that really gave us any other items. I think if he had found any items, he would have had them in his inventory. So I guess this is an example of a game, like there's a lot of them, frankly, where you get some kind of different skin or benefit by having let's see, he's got 2 rataways, so can we change his equipment? I mean, I don't know if you can really. We finally got like 1 stim pack there. Throughout this entire time. Let's see. If we were to give this guy an A and an L, that's probably not too useful. If we were to give this guy that outfit, that might be slightly useful. I'm trying to get to 250 so that we could build that, but we don't have time. We need to get to 150 so we can build more energy. Let's see. Another quest done. Raise the happiness of a dweller to 100%. A specific dweller? We already have one at 100%. And another at 100%. And another. And another and another. So we've played very well. And yet you have these artificial constraints, which, yeah, that's the problem with any game like this where there are microtransactions, is that you are just going to run into these artificial constraints, and that really does make this game just not worth playing, unfortunately, still. So for a very different reason, I don't want to play this game. Let's see what happens if we were to... Let's go ahead and save and go to the main menu, and let's just see in comparison how far did we get previously. Basically the exact same place. So that first hour of experience hasn't really improved. Let's see. Here's a daily rating that gave me a C+, a 90 caps. We are at low water supply. Let's see. Still getting tips. I built an actual elevator this time. 3 people seem to have appeared, possibly because it's been a day, possibly because of something, some other reason. Let's just turn off the tips. Could be that people died. Yep. So yeah, there was a dead dweller. I wouldn't be surprised if I sent some people off just for fun. What this really highlights is that, yeah, nothing is specifically changed just by leaving the game where it was for years. You didn't get any real benefit to that idea. Like, same old, just unlocked med bay. Have one Vault-Tec thing. You could potentially have 3 saving files. They, I guess, do give you some small taste of the premium currency, which some games will never give you any of the premium currency. There's a collectible card game called Shadowverse that I play, and it has never once even pretended like you could get the premium currency without spending money. But yeah, this build is not any better. In pretty much every way, it's worse. So yeah. So twice now we have gone through Fallout games to really just once again determine that they're not worth playing. It's a shame. Fallout Shelter if you had removed the microtransactions, made it a bit snappier, made it easier to get to the new content that was the add-ons that actually made it worthwhile. Because at a certain point, and I couldn't even get that far in an hour worth of gameplay to show it. At a certain point, you actually start to go out with the dwellers as they investigate the wasteland, and you have your standard kind of turn-based RPG elements that you would expect to see in any RPG, where you have potentially a team or just one person taking their turn shooting at an enemy back and forth, maybe even having some other abilities. It may be as little as just attacking and healing or blocking, but yeah, those are the elements you would want to take, is turn it into something closer to like Pokemon is maybe a good comparison, or just Final Fantasy, any of the early Final Fantasy RPG games where you can attack, use magic, defend, prepare, trade off those agility points. But yeah, that would bring back a much more classic video game concept. The radio station, I think, actually brings in better dwellers, and so it's like you're sending out signals to people to say, hey, come to our fallout shelter. So it doesn't, I think, do that much. The dogs obviously are just attack assistants, and that's a good idea. Like, you can definitely see there were concepts that were added to this game to make it a little bit better, but not enough, really. Particularly if this was supposed to be like a cell phone game, where the microtransactions were going to actually be a source of income. I don't think Bethesda ever actually thought that this was going to be a huge money maker for them. But if they were going to try to do that, they would have had to add a lot more content than they ever did. So really, this game has just been left withering on the vine in the years since it's been released. Pretty much abandoned, I would say, about a year and a half after it came out. Which, I mean, that may have been for the better, because I don't think too many people really wanted to see Bethesda spend a lot of resources maintaining a cell phone game. In a lot of ways, I wouldn't be surprised if Fallout Shelter was a way in which they could introduce the idea of a games as service, a microtransaction laden game, before Fallout 76 came. And it, on a certain level, worked, because not too many people complained about the microtransactions in Fallout Shelter. Plenty of people complained about the lack of gameplay in the microtransactions in Fallout 76. And Fallout 76 is a dead game as much as Fallout Shelter is a dead game, but people actively hated Fallout 76 from day one and never gave it a chance, whereas people actually kind of liked Fallout Shelter. I guess the free price of entry and the lowered expectations really helped it out there. But the next thing they definitely should do, as Bethesda, now owned by Microsoft, is moving towards their next game, Starfield, is they kind of need to recoup the Fallout series in particular, because Fallout 4 wasn't received great, Fallout 76 was received awfully, Fallout Shelter, it was abandoned. I think they should probably think about remaking Fallout 1, with at least retelling the story of Fallout 1 in some way, and something like this wouldn't be terrible, but maybe not make it a Tiny Tower clone either. Maybe just see if modern cell phones at this point could just make a decent Fallout 2.5D isometric top-down game. Frankly, modern phones probably could do something along the level of what Fallout 3 looks like, particularly if you are just going to tell a generic story of Fallout 1, which had only maybe 10 or 20 locations. Anyways, that's going to be our second spotlight for Fallout Shelter, I think, and probably our last. I don't see any reason why I'd ever come back and try and play this. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.